The move has no name in boxing, no official term, no textbook definition, because technically, it doesn't exist in boxing at all. It's a martial arts principle, one of Bruce Lee's core concepts from Jeet Kune Do that somehow found its way into the most famous boxing match in history and changed the outcome of the Rumble in the Jungle in ways nobody recognized until decades later. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start 6 months before that legendary night in Zaire. It's March 1974. Muhammad Ali is in Los Angeles, ostensibly for a promotional appearance, but really he's there because he's scared. Not the kind of scared he'd ever admit publicly. Not the kind of scared that shows in press conferences when he's predicting round Byron victories and reciting poems about his greatness. This is private scared, real scared. The kind of scared that comes when you've signed a contract to fight George Foreman, and you're watching film of Foreman destroying Joe Frazier, the man who beat you, and you're realizing that every advantage you've ever had might not be enough. George Foreman in 1974 is not a fighter. He's a force of nature. 25 years old, 40 wins, 37 by knockout. He doesn't just beat opponents, he erases them. When he fought Joe Frazier for the heavyweight title in Jamaica, he knocked Frazier down 6 times in 2 rounds. 6 times. Joe Frazier, the man who broke Ollie's jaw, who handed Ollie his first professional loss, got ragdolled like a sparring dummy. Ollie watched that fight, watched Foreman's power, watched how Foreman walked through Frazier's best punches like they were suggestions. Watched how Foreman's jab, just his jab, had more power than most heavyweights' right hands. And Ollie understood something that terrified him. His normal strategy won't work. Ollie's whole career is built on speed and movement. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, dance around bigger, slower opponents, make them miss, tire them out, pick them apart. It worked against Sonny Liston, worked against Cleveland Williams, even worked against Frazier in their second fight. But Foreman isn't slow. Foreman is fast for a 220-pound destroyer, and Foreman doesn't get tired. He just keeps coming, throwing sledgehammers disguised as punches, until his opponent stops moving. So Ali does something he rarely does. He asks for help. Through mutual friends, someone who knows someone, Ali gets a message to Bruce Lee. Can we meet? Private. Need to talk about movement. Bruce, who's in the middle of post-production on Enter the Dragon, agrees immediately. They've met before. Mutual respect established. But this is different. This is Ollie asking Bruce for technical help. This is the greatest boxer in the world, acknowledging that maybe, just maybe, there's something outside of boxing that could save him. They meet at a private gym in Culver City. Just the two of them. No press, no cameras, no entourage. Ollie specifically requests privacy. I don't want anyone knowing I'm asking a martial artist for boxing advice. They'd say I'm desperate. Bruce's response is immediate. Are you desperate? Ollie thinks about this, then nods. Yeah, I am. Foreman's going to try to kill me. Not metaphorically, actually kill me. I've never fought anyone with that kind of power, who's also that fast. I need something he won't expect. Bruce gestures to the heavy bag. Show me your typical strategy. How would you normally fight him? Ali demonstrates. The famous Ali shuffle, the dancing, the jab and move. The rope-a-dope concept he's been developing, leaning on the ropes, covering up, letting opponents punch themselves out. Bruce watches carefully, then shakes his head. The rope-a-dope won't work. Why not? Because Foreman doesn't punch himself out. He punches through you. You cover up on the ropes. His power goes through your guard, through your arms, into your body. You'll break. Ollie knows Bruce is right. So what do? Bruce walks to the center of the gym. First, understand something about power. Real power, the kind Foreman has, comes from his entire body, moving as one unit. His legs, hips, core, shoulders, arms all synchronized. That's what makes his punches devastating. He's not just punching with his arm, he's punching with 220 pounds of forward momentum. Ali nods. I know, I've seen the film. He hits like a truck. Right. So the question is, how do you deal with a truck? Get out of the way. You can try, Bruce says. But trucks are fast when they're moving in a straight line, and Foreman is very good at cutting off the ring. Eventually, you'll run out of room. So getting out of the way is temporary, not a solution. Then what? Bruce smiles. You make the truck's power work against itself. You redirect the force. This is where boxing and martial arts differ. Boxing teaches you to block, parry, or evade. All defensive martial arts teaches you to use your opponent's force as your weapon. He gestures Ali forward. Throw a jab at me. Full power, like you're trying to hit Foreman. Ollie throws a jab, fast, professional, the kind of jab that scored 1,000 points in 1,000 fights. Bruce doesn't move his feet, doesn't step back, just turns his upper body slightly, maybe 15 degrees, and Ali's fist passes his face by 2 inches. But here's the key. Bruce's hand comes up, not to block, but to touch Ali's extended arm, and with the lightest pressure fingertips only, he pushes Ali's arm slightly to the side. The effect is minimal. Ali's punch misses by maybe 3 inches instead of 2, but Bruce's point is made. Feel that? Bruce asks. You barely touched my arm. Exactly. I didn't stop your punch, didn't block it, didn't absorb the impact, just redirected it slightly. Your power went past me instead of into me. Now imagine Foreman throws his right hand, all that power, all that momentum, and instead of blocking it or taking it, you do this. Bruce demonstrates the motion again. Slight upper body rotation, light touch to redirect. His power flows past you. And here's the crucial part. While his power is flowing past, you're already countering. Because he's committed to that punch, he's extended. Off balance for a split second. Ali's eyes light up. So I let him punch full power, but I'm not there. And while he's recovering, I hit him. Exactly. But it's more than that. It's timing. It's about reading his commitment to the punch before he throws it. Boxing teaches you to see the punch coming. Martial arts teaches you to see the intention before the punch exists. Bruce spends the next hour drilling this with Ali. Not the physical motion. Ali's body can do that easily. The timing, the reading of intention, the understanding of when Foreman is committed to throwing power and therefore vulnerable for that split second. Watch his eyes, Bruce says. Watch his front shoulder. Watch his weight shift. Foreman telegraphs his power punches because power requires commitment. The moment you see him commit, that's when you move. Not after the punch starts. Before. They drill it 50 times, 100 times. Bruce throws punches, gradually increasing power, and Ali practices the slight rotation, the light redirection, the immediate counter. This isn't rope-a-dope, Ali says, understanding dawning. This is rope-a-dope. I'm on the ropes, but I'm not getting hit. Better than that, Bruce corrects. You're on the ropes, using the rope's spring to add power to your counters. Every time Foreman throws and you redirect, you're using the rope's elasticity to snap back with your own punches. The ropes become your weapon, not his. Ali practices this, leaning against the ropes, letting Bruce throw power shots, rotating slightly, redirecting with fingertip touch, and immediately firing back combinations. The ropes give him spring. Foreman's missed power creates openings. It's perfect, but then Bruce teaches him the second part, the part that will actually win the fight. Here's the thing about power punchers, Bruce says. They're used to people being afraid of their power. They expect you to run or to freeze. They don't expect you to neutralize it. When you start making Foreman's power miss not by running, but by this, he demonstrates the rotation. Something psychological happens. He'll throw harder. He'll commit more. He'll get frustrated. And frustrated fighters make mistakes. So I make him miss. He gets frustrated, throws harder, misses more, gets more frustrated. And eventually, he's not boxing anymore. He's trying to knock your head off. And when someone's trying to knock your head off, they forget defense. They forget fundamentals. They just throw power. And that's when you have him. Ali absorbs this. How do you know this works against someone Foreman's size? Bruce's answer is simple. Because I've tested it against bigger, stronger people my entire life. I'm 135 pounds. Everyone I fight is bigger and stronger. Size and power are advantages only if they land. Make them miss, make them frustrated, and size becomes a disadvantage. Because the bigger you are, the more energy you waste throwing power that hits nothing. They train for 3 hours. By the end, Ali understands the principle. Not just physically, conceptually, he understands that Foreman's greatest weapon can become his greatest weakness if Ali refuses to engage with it on Foreman's terms. Before Ali leaves, Bruce gives him one final piece of advice. Don't tell anyone you're going to do this. Not your trainers, not your corner, not the press. Because if Foreman knows you're planning to stay on the ropes and redirect instead of run, he'll prepare for it. This only works if it surprises him. If he thinks you're going to dance and run, and instead you're on the ropes, making him miss, the psychological impact multiplies. Ali nods. Our secret, Bruce confirms. 6 months later, October 30th, 1974, Kinshasa, Zaire, the rumble in the jungle. 60,000 people in the stadium, millions watching worldwide. George Foreman, the heavy favorite, the destroyer, the man who obliterated Joe Frazier. Muhammad Ali, the underdog, the former champion trying to reclaim his throne. Round 1. Ali comes out dancing, moving, using his speed. Exactly what everyone expects. Exactly what Foreman expects. Ali throws a few jabs, moves, dances. Then, at the end of the round, he does something nobody expects. He goes to the ropes. Foreman, surprised but delighted, closes in. This is what he wants. Ali trapped, nowhere to run. Foreman throws a massive right hand. Ali's upper body rotates slightly, 15 degrees. The punch misses his head by 3 inches. Ali's left glove touches Foreman's extended arm fingertips, only and redirects it slightly past. Before Foreman can reset, Ali fires a 3-punch combination into Foreman's face. Foreman looks confused. He threw his best punch, and it hit nothing. How did Ali evade without moving his feet? Round 2. Ali goes straight to the ropes. Foreman throws power shots. Big, heavy punches designed to break ribs through the guard. But Ali's doing that rotation Bruce taught him. Slight turn, light redirect. The punches miss or glance off. And every time Foreman misses, Ali counters. Sharp, fast combinations. By round 3, Foreman is frustrated. He's throwing harder, committing more, missing more, getting hit more. This isn't how it's supposed to go. Ali is supposed to be running. Instead, Ali's on the ropes, making Foreman look slow and predictable. Round 5. Foreman is breathing heavy. Not from exhaustion, from frustration. He's thrown hundreds of power punches. Maybe 20 landed clean. The rest, redirected by that slight rotation, that light touch, that timing Bruce Lee taught Ali to read intention before action. Round 8. Foreman is still throwing power, but now he's desperate, wild, off balance. His punches have lost technique. He's just trying to land something, anything, that will put Ali down. Ali sees it, the exact moment Bruce described. Foreman commits to a huge right hand, everything behind it, all his weight forward. Ali does the rotation, the punch misses. Foreman is extended, off balance, vulnerable. Ali fires. Right hand to the head, the punch everyone remembers. Foreman goes down. The count reaches 10. Muhammad Ali is the heavyweight champion of the world again. After the fight, in the dressing room, Angelo Dundale's legendary trainer asks him about the rope-a-dope strategy. Where did you come up with that? That wasn't in our training. That rotation thing, that redirection, that's not boxing. Ali grins, doesn't answer directly, just says, learned it from a friend. Someone who understands that power is only dangerous if it lands. Bruce Lee, watching the fight on television in Hong Kong, recognizes the movement immediately. The rotation, the redirection, the timing. He turns to Linda and says, he did it. He actually used it. Used what? Linda asks. The principle, Bruce says. The core concept of Jeet Kune Do, using your opponent's force against them, making their strength their weakness. Ali just proved that martial arts principles work at the highest level of boxing, and nobody even knows he used them. Bruce never speaks publicly about teaching Ali that technique. Ali never admits learning it. It stays their secret. But decades later, when sports scientists analyze the rumble in the jungle, they notice something odd. Ali's defensive movement on the ropes isn't standard boxing defense. The upper body rotation is too subtle, too efficient, too much like something else. Something that looks almost like martial arts evasion adapted for boxing. In 2001, a journalist interviewing Angelo Dundee asks about that strange defensive technique Ali used against Foreman. Dundee's answer, Muhammad came into training camp with that, said he'd figured out a new way to make Foreman miss without wasting energy running. I didn't question it. It worked. Where did Ali learn it? Dundee shrugs. Muhammad was always innovating, always watching film, always learning from different sources. He never told me everything. In 2015, a martial arts historian going through Bruce Lee's private notes finds an entry dated March 1974, worked with MA Today on redirection principle. He understands it conceptually. Will be interesting to see if he can apply it under pressure against a power puncher. If he can, it will prove that martial arts principles transcend style and rule sets. The historian publishes the note. Ali fans and boxing purists dismiss it. Bruce Lee didn't teach Muhammad Ali anything. Ali was a genius boxer who figured out rope-a-dope on his own. But those who understand both boxing and martial arts recognize the truth. The technique Ali used against Foreman, that rotation, that redirection, that reading of intention before action, that's not boxing. That's Bruce Lee's philosophy applied to boxing context. The move has no name, not in boxing, but in Jeet Kune Do, it's called interception. Intercepting your opponent's intention before it becomes action, using their committed force against them, making them pay for their own power. Muhammad Ali took that principle, adapted it to boxing rules, and used it to defeat the most dangerous puncher in heavyweight history. Bruce Lee never took credit. Ali never admitted the source, but the truth is, in the film, frame-by-frame analysis of the Rumble in the Jungle shows Ali doing something no boxer before him had done, using martial arts principles in a boxing match and winning the heavyweight championship because of it. One move, taught in private, used in the biggest fight in boxing history, changed the outcome, changed history, and almost nobody knew where it came from. That's the real story. Not about Ali learning a punch or a combination. About Ali learning a principle that power is only dangerous if it lands, and the best defense isn't blocking or running, it's making power defeat itself. Bruce Lee taught that. Muhammad Ali proved it. George Foreman learned it the hard way. One move, two legends, one secret that changed boxing forever. The move that has no name but knocked out George Foreman.